everyone, this is Peak Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to take a look back at the explosive actioner titled Navy SEALs. Released way back in July the 20th, 1990, it stars Michael Biehn, Charlie Sheen, Joanne Whalley Kilmer, Bill Paxton, Denis Haybert and Rick Rossovich, and it was directed by Teague. Now the story of Navy SEALs begins in the Mediterranean Sea, where a rescue Navy helicopter is gunned down by terrorists with the aircrew taken hostage. A group of United Navy SEALs are assigned to rescue the crew, and after a frenetic gunfight against terrorists, they manage to escape but are forced to leave behind a batch of lethal missiles. The team leader, James Curran, is criticised for not attaining the missiles, but states that the rescue mission was the primary objective. Weeks later, having seen the continued attacks by the terrorists with the missiles, Curran and his team are assigned once more to apprehend the terrorist group and their leader. Despite frustrations in terms of information and intelligence, Curran remains determined to take out the terrorists no matter what. Now, when looking back at Navy SEALs, it's a no-nonsense, explosive action adventure. Not the most subtle or intelligent, but it clearly knows what it is, and in terms of being overall fun, action-packed adventure, it overall does its job, and very much remains fun to watch. Despite being released in 1990, it is every bit the fabric of the gung-ho, testosterone, slam-bang actioners from the 1980s. Everything from the likes of Rambo, Predator, Uncommon Valor, and Missing in Action, and the A-Team, where we saw all of those classic elements of a team, men on a mission, heroes striving out to do justice, defeating forces of evil, and Navy SEALs pulls off all of these themes to entertaining effect. The first half especially is very good, as we see the soldiers' first mission, where the action set pieces are executed very well. Once more, we are in a pre-CGI era with practical stunts and real explosions, and it's very good to see. I also liked the sequence shortly afterwards where we see the SEALs just hanging out, playing golf, bantering off one another, and it's that typical display of brotherhood and camaraderie, men bonding together in activities, and these type of scenes just generate a positive vibe. Nothing too deep or heavy-handed, but it's just fun to watch all of these characters, and seeing all of the rapport within the team keeps you engaged with where they're heading in terms of the overall story. Now, in the main lead role as Curran, I think Michael Biehn is solid and convincing enough as a team leader. He's determined and resolved, but at the same time level-headed and grounded and responsible. And when you look back at the career of Michael Biehn, he's been involved in some massive cultural blockbusters, from the likes of The Terminator, Aliens, Tombstone, The Rock, but he never became a fully leading man actor within his own right. And I think that's a shame, because I think overall he is a good performer, just a very solid actor in whatever performance or genre that he's in. We then look at Charlie Sheen, who doesn't fare quite as well, despite being the more prolific name. Going into this release, of course, he was coming off the likes of Platoon and Wall Street. And here has Dale Hawkins, the second lieutenant. He's much more the younger, reckless rookie, far less appealing as a character, as we see certain scenes where his reckless actions prove detrimental to the team. And despite a pivotal event halfway through the film, Hawkins as a character just remains the same, not seemingly knowing from his mistakes or looking to atone for his past actions. And very much the same as Michael Biehn, Charlie Sheen, despite his prominent roles in the 80s, didn't really go on to become quite the prominent leading actor that Hollywood certainly was trying to push him to be within the mid-80s. Of course, he found success later on with the TV series 2.5 Men. And perhaps the movie suffers in the latter half as Hawkins becomes the primary character, as we see the team in an all-out escape fighting for their lives. We look at Joanne Whalley Kilmer's character as a journalist named Claire Varens, and really, to be honest, she's just there more as the token female and love interest. We see her initially working with Curran, who's desperate for more intel in terms of the terrorists. And the movie initially hints at some sort of love triangle between the two, as we see Hawkins trying to date Claire later on, but it doesn't really do anything with it. And it's probably thankful, as I was far more drawn in to seeing the team overall out there taking on the terrorists. I liked all of the supporting characters, despite their minor roles. Many of these actors you will see popping up in all sorts of action movies throughout the 80s and 90s. The most notable entry, of course, is Bill Paxton, who again was involved in many massive movies throughout his career, despite not taking the lead role, and all of the other supporting actors play their parts once more in generating a good rapport and camaraderie within the team. So we go on to the box office, and sadly Navy SEALs was a financial disappointment, only managing to gross $25 million from its $21 million budget. Critics were very savage on the film, claiming that there was a lack of depth in terms of the characterization, and that it was very much all surface level in terms of explosions and stunt work. Some critics claimed that it was propagandic in many ways, but I don't believe that to be the case. It's purely heroes looking to take out terrorists. Where those terrorists comes from isn't really leaned on too much in terms of the film. We don't get too much in-depth anti-war commentary, because once more this is an out-and-out, over-the-top action adventure, not a more serious war drama, and again it's far more entertaining because of it. Others have labelled Navy SEALs as some sort of attempt to try and glorify the activities of the military in the same way that we saw with Top Gun and its fighter planes and pilots. But I actually do prefer Navy SEALs because we don't get the soapy, romantic subplots and the more aimless narratives that what we saw with Top Gun. As I said, Navy SEALs may not be the most complex or heavy-handed of films, but yet again, it's one of those films that you can just turn on a Friday night and just chill back and enjoy. Plenty of action, and amidst some very good supporting cast of actors. I would still recommend Navy SEALs as a good overall watch, and once more, it's a clear movie that is set its heart within the 80s despite being released in the early 1990s. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings when looking back at Navy SEALs. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any other further movies, television series, or any other topics within the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover within this channel, then also let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.